Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and it is Sunday. It is Mother's Day. It is another day in this adventure of life. I'm excited to share time with you guys again. I got a few notes. I got some ideas, but admittedly, I'm curious to see what happens when the link is dropped today, see where the direction may go. But starting out, I love this identification. It's clear. Happy Maternal Archetype Day. And blessings to all of you who swing through. Happy Sunday. And please hit the like on the way in if you would. I don't know. Maybe it helps. Maybe it doesn't. But whatever. So today, little encouraging offer on the day put aside for mothers. A mother's love is endless, selfless, and unconditional. It is the purest form of love that exists. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And admittedly, Jack's mommy issues, they've been pretty well taken care of. But, the true mommy love, of grace and strength, not everyone receives that as a child. My mom, she was all right. She's a great lady. No complaints from me anymore. But the truth is, not every child gets to experience the fullness of a mother's love. There's a lot of wounded children everywhere, many different stages of their life. But for those of us who are alive, we were all nurtured enough to grow. Right? So it may not have been the mommy perfect ideal situation, but each of us has received enough of the compassion and warmth and the nurturing that the mother archetype delivers. We've made it this far. So for those who can still say hello to mom, both of you are still around, take the time. Today's a great day to reach out to say thank you. I reached out to mine, and so to all the mothers and all the men and women who play those roles in different ways, good for you. Thank you. It takes a community. It takes a community. And Austin, you may be honest. You might be blaming, but you might be honest too. What I realized, I did grow up with a lot of mommy issues and daddy issues, and those became my excuses for my anger. But at some point, I had to accept, all right, Jack, well, they did their part. Where's yours, right? Can't keep complaining about mommy and daddy all our life, but some people do. But what I realized as I matured and as I grew a little wiser, mom and dad, they did the best they knew how to do. They weren't perfect. They were tough, right? They were tough men and women who helped raise me. And so it takes tough men and women to survive out in the woods, right? To be homesteaders. That's actually what my parents were. Ones I grew up with. But hey, today I didn't want to be all about mom and daddy issues, but this is something. It's part of the tradition of today. And mom and dad are the first kind of authorities that as we grow, we kind of go to. It's our idol, our God, our rulers. But the goal that we all want, what we all want to find is truly unconditional love. Love freed from conditions. That's the topic of the day. Because really, in the ideal image of the mother's love, of being endless, selfless, unconditional, it's that love that's powerful. It's fierce. It doesn't accept excuses or limitations. The love from God, man, that is where my mind is at today. Someone mentioned a comment here. This one, Carpenter's Journey. Me too, man. Me too. Crystal Shaman, happy Sunday to you and all, right? I wish wishes become fulfilled through faith. Sometimes, often, I have faith that Tommy will grow more hope with Jack and for us. And that's what I was trying to remember the other day. Netty, not this, not that. Identify with the eternal awareness. We can make no others do nothing. We can't make anyone do anything. But what we can do, and what I hope to do, is encourage, inspire. We can help lead each other. We live in a world of, it's a paradox. It's all, you know what? The world is what it is. It's perfect in God's design. Speaking of, I'm gonna drop the link, and then I got a few things I want to share a little bit. Hey, it kind of is. It's kind of church with Jack. So praise God today, at least while we're together. And then you know what? Yeah, I actually hope Tommy shows up as well. I care about him. He was upset and very frustrated last night. And his life hasn't been real simple. He's taken some chances and stepping out on some things. And hey, praise God. Tommy, to Vice President.
You're praise God and right, Jack. Now, I almost burnt my fucking studio down last night, not because I'm sick of your shit, but because I'm sick of everybody's shit. And because an outdoorsman led me believe that one of my images of God out here that showed me compassion and help when he didn't know that I'm not actually an outdoorsman, I thought he was dead. And then after going through your fucking bullshit and Bobby Tuesday's bullshit, yeah, I was losing my shit last night because I'm a little fucking human.
I know.
But I'll tell you what, Jack, let's kick up this thing you and your dad used to do. I'm going to sit up here today and I'm going to go through your stupid show. And then later on, you're going to come on over to mine so the chat can actually be seen and there can actually be a back and forth. And Carpenter's faggot Journey is going to come up and tell me exactly what the fuck he's talking about. But as far as you today, Jack, I'm going to back off of you because I feel it would be much more lucrative. Like I used to tell your daddy, just let me hit your panel because you got a lot of fucking dipshits that are going to come up here and run their stupid game. And you're going to nod along and say, yep. And all I want's the chance to go, nope. And that's what the people come out for, Jack. That's what they love. And Tommy fucking Sunday. Better than a Frank Monday. Somebody's got a case of the Frank Mondays.
Holy cows. Hank, thank you for the contribution.
Yeah. I will set him straight. Bring him on up. He's got issues.
If you are sick of
this is the only place he can talk to me, Jack. He is John on my channel. And you probably watched it, didn't you?
I realize. Tom, please, and thank you. Thank you for being here. Yes, you're right. A lot of people,
like you thank Paul for fucking coming in and stomping me in the teeth when you backstage. You thanking me like that? Don't thank me for stuff, Jack. Now, do you still find Hank your vessel of credibility? You still going to rely on him for credibility?
Actually, can I move forward? I'd like to move forward.
No, you can answer the question. Answer yes or no, and then move forward.
He is his own character.
He has zero credibility if you watched my panel with him.
I don't go to
He's
zero.
fucking autistic, Jack.
Okay, I'd like to move on now. We're
All right,
getting
are you coming over tonight? Are you coming over tonight?
Yes, that's
I'll
my
chill.
intent.
I'll chill then. Thank you for answering.
Thank you. All right, now this might get you going as well, but I want to do a little promotion. It's the link for this is also in the description already. But tomorrow I will be doing a collaborative stream with our friend MPC the Game.
I think that's garbage. Search 2025.
Regarding the Scorpio full moon. And so I think things are going to be fun with that. And here,
he thought I was just
to kind of,
I said, what a faggot.
Just to kind of update, for the people who don't know or who want to think Jack's not doing anything, as I've said, I've been looking for other like-minded people, other like-minded organizations. I recently came across. What's that?
The time for waiting on others is back on?
No, the time to connect. I'm bringing this up, this organization, Democracy at Work, challenging capitalism. Can I?
Just like, you're challenging capitalism?
Yes. Challenging
Jack, you're
capitalism.
about to do you remember when I dared your daddy to go on a stance of the shape of the planet? I said, Paul, you're not going to take a stance. You'll divide your viewers right down the middle. You're going to take a stance against capitalism, Jack?
Yes. And please don't take this wrong. I'm putting you in the back just so I can get through a couple of things here. So this is an organization I found. It resonates with me. I mean, the way to end wage slavery, or once wage slavery will end, we'll have democracy at work, right? The workers will have a voice. And so this term, democracy at work, it can be taken a couple of ways, but the mission of this organization is challenging capitalism with progressive, entertaining, and educational media. As I said, I just happened to discover them. I reached out to them today. And then in the description, again, is a video that helped inspire me today. It's from End Times Productions. And this man, Jamie Walden, the guy speaking, he's real inspiring. His messages are heavily supported with scripture. And his messages are similar to the same conclusions that I've come to. His organization, and what I learned of him, is he has started this group, Omega Dynamics. And as they self-identify, it's a Christian ministry dedicated to strengthening and equipping our identity in Christ as the warrior redeemed, an identity that has been reduced, maligned, assaulted on every front. So Tommy, I thought you might appreciate this one too. I found the guy's messages that just real. Here, I forgot to drop that link. I found his messages to be really inspiring, particularly at this time of change here in the world. There is a shift. The prophecies, I believe, are becoming fulfilled, and we are that. So we do have a number of guests here. Let me bring up the ones I feel I can trust. And
I'd love to hear that list.
Well, there's
Can you bring up the chat? Can you bring up the chat that asks if I'm related to Daisy? And I'll do I think I can do Daisy pretty well. I just tried it the other night.
Yeah, panelists to talk to. You don't need to talk to the chat.
Thank you for trusting me.
I agree. If I could never look at the chat, for you to not reference the chat, Jack, for like just a show or two, I agree with that. You're horrible for the chat. Like my closing words with you last night, you just sat there sharing chats. And from now on, when you share a chat, you're going to explain why you're sharing it, if that shit's coming at me.
Tell you what, there's one more guest I'll bring up, and let's see. Sean, are you there? I didn't recognize your name. So.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I'm just an atheist from Ireland.
An atheist from Ireland. Are you familiar with me?
Yes.
Yeah, atheists love you, Jack.
Make yourself at home, brother.
Yeah,
I'll take
very,
a
very
chance.
Christian,
Welcome, Sean.
very Christian, Hank,
Oh,
very Unitarian.
also a big S. Just
I'm
like
all
me.
black. What's going on?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, welcome. I'll trust that you're here for the
Yeah, it's
conversation.
interesting because I think Jesus was kind of socialist, wasn't he? But I don't think he was full commie though. You can't go
No,
that
no, no,
bad. I mean,
I know
you
what
can't
you're
go full
saying.
retard. You know that movie?
No, it's not
I'm just
socialist
trying
or
to have a
communist.
cup of tea, mate.
It's not socialist or communist when it's voluntary. When you are forced to be socialist or communist, that's tyranny. And yes, I'll take Ernest P. Worrell. He was a stronger Christian than any motherfucker on this panel.
Well,
Go to
okay.
this panel. Go to this panel then. You ought to be here.
He's dead, Hank. I wish you
Can I-
were.
I'd like to bring it. I'd like to
You
bring
wish
it.
death on people, Tommy, you fucking meth head, tranny, fucking retard.
Cage.
He'll let it
My
fly.
bad, Talcott.
Enough with the insults and the provocations at each other. All
No,
right.
this is the words that of the man's own mouth.
Cage.
Yeah.
Right. You're just making excuses. The
It's not an
insults
excuse.
are not
There's no
productive.
excuses.
Projection.
Holy crap.
A projection, what you're
Hey,
telling
Cage.
people? Okay.
One other thing, Cage. Please be mindful. What has really frustrated me with you is your pattern of interruptions, speaking over.
Okay. I never said one word, and now I'm interrupting as soon as I speak, right?
You
Okay.
really believe he just came up and haven't said one word yet between meth, tranny,
Right.
pedo? That's
Right.
3 words, meth, tranny, pedo.
I never said that. Now you're making shit up. I never said that word.
Cage.
Drunk. He's drunk. He's drunk.
I said what you admitted to.
Tell you what, I can't take
Very snafu.
too
Very
many-
zebra.
too many agents of chaos at once, and it just gets out of control. And Cage, you're clearly not paying any attention to me. You're again in your own little world, engaged with arguments with Tommy. So
Jack, have you lost weight? Did you get a haircut? Did you get a haircut? Did you lose weight?
No.
I'm just paying attention.
Thank you. So the topic, love freed from conditions. And I really did want to get into the idea of being not like you're doing, Tom, but it's in the same energy, being a warrior for Christ.
That's exactly what the fuck I am.
Actually, this video I mentioned finding that guy in, he said some things that got me to thinking. One of the ones, I think, Tommy, you've brought it up against me many times. Maybe others have too. The fact that Jesus said he came for war.
No, he came to divide, because chances are no man knowing the day or the hour of his return is based on God allowing each of us to fully choose our side. Then that will probably help enact the thing. We will all get a chance to choose our side.
It's now. It's the time.
Right. And tomorrow and the next day, because we're not just talking about you and I. We're talking about the whole damn world, and the truth will reach the 4 corners of the globe.
And I believe that has happened. I believe that the prophecies are being
happening. Because here's an example, Jack. When Jesus said when he comes back, everyone in the world will see it at the same time. Look at us. Like, where's Mike? Where is Hank? Where are you? The whole world can just share these images at the same time. And there's like a guy on a white horse piercing the sky with an army behind him.
Right. So, Jesus Christ.
So how do you believe this much of it and then flip it and think you're the guy that ends wars?
Tell you what. Let me see if I can. I didn't.
He's funny.
Yeah. I didn't make notes on it, but this guy, he does a great job of trying to say what I'm trying to say. He relies on. He uses words of scripture, but he has the same conclusions that I do. That
then I already don't like.
he's going to stay ignorant. which is actually another topic we could discuss, because
I think
what
you
I'm
should
trying-
save the biblical stuff for when you come see me, because I want to be able to
What I'm-
stay on panel and have that
Hey,
out.
Tommy, can you shut the fuck up for a second?
Thank
Well,
you.
I've got 3 years here,
Oh,
boy.
okay. If you can't shut the
Can
fuck
I
up
ask?
for a second,
Can I
I
ask
know,
Jack?
so I can talk over you. Okay.
Jack,
Yeah.
can I ask if your permission? Can I ask Tommy a question? Just ask him a question, respectfully.
I put him in the back.
Okay, all right.
But,
The bottom line is this: the man truly loves you. The man is obsessed with you. The man does want your advice, but he's fighting the urge to give in, to actually submit to a positive message. He's fighting with every bit of his soul, Jack.
you're right.
Well,
And it's a path we all go through. Not with me specifically, but Mike, I'm hearing what you're saying, and I saw that too. Tommy, you're definitely dealing with some emotions. Okay, you're dealing with some aspects of your life. You said things on your stream last night that, as a man who cares, I felt your pain. But this is the path of our egos. We are in battle until we surrender. And no one likes to find out that they're wrong. No one likes to find out that they're the reason they're alone. That was my acceptance. I didn't want to accept the fact that, yeah, my friends and family were away from me because of me. It was a choice they were free to make, but I gave them reasons to stay away. And I don't know Tommy's specifics. I know that he is a loner. He's embraced that part of his identity, and he's a strong man. But strength is not just the power. We need to be able to be calm. And so, Mike, what I think is going to happen is all of my own experience. I went through this stuff where my paradigms were shattered. I had to finally accept, yep, people betray. Yep, things are not the way I could. Things I thought were not the way they were. And so I had to accept that. And then as soon as I started doing that, though, Mike, you've been through it. We all have in different ways. Once we find and turn the corner on our error, holy shit, things get so much better. So I see Tommy ready for a breakthrough, and I'll shut up here.
I want to thank Tommy real quick before he comes back on and interrupts me. But thank you, Tommy, for the zebra diploma. He said I'm officially irrelevant to his channel, which means I graduated. I got my zebra degree, so I don't need to go back. Thank you, Professor Tommy.
what are you holding in your hand, Hank?
It's a diploma. It's just a rag, but it's a zebra diploma.
But it suits your hat and your shirt. Come on, it's not just a rag.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
a diploma too.
But I think the message, the overlying message is the hardest thing for a man to do, especially a strong-headed man, is to submit. The only way you're going to change is to actually get on your actual knees, get on your knees and pray, submit completely. But we can't do that because we're hard-headed. We can't admit that there's something higher than us. Humans think that they're the top of the food chain. We're not. We're an ant in an ant farm. That's the problem. It's our own pride. It's our own pride.
It's both. Mike, you're right. When our pride is there, when we're filled with pride, life is tough. But when we humble ourselves, and I have what Mike is talking about, that surrender and giving up to some degree, it allows you a chance to start over. And Tommy's being patient. I want to bring him back. But the point I was trying to get across with the reference to Jesus and the divide, the world was already divided. He started the war against the darkness. So what is darkness? Darkness in the realm of intelligence is ignorance. So the wisdom is here to overcome the darkness. We're here to battle ignorance and stupidity by growing wisdom and awareness. And that's what the power of God is. God is the loving awareness that is eternally present within each of us. But when we're ready to fight, we don't see the love that's right there. And Tommy has found reasons to fight me. Please, go ahead.
I think Tommy thinks that you're not fully practicing Christianity because he's a Christian himself, yeah? And he thinks that you're changing it, or that's what I've listened a bit of his. He's quite entertaining the way he says it, but he basically thinks that you're like a cult leader trying to make it more like or something. But I don't know your theology or your exact beliefs, but I kind of know you're a Christian and you like it. But do you believe everything in Christianity? Is a question.
I oppose much of the traditional dogma and a lot of the religious doctrines. I don't actually apply a lot of those to myself, but the words of Christ and the wisdom from the Bible, there's no denying the value there. And as far as the distinction, Sean, you're right. I claim to be a follower of Christ. Tommy claims to be a Christian. He's very vocal and clear that he says, I'm doing it wrong. I suggest it's the other way around.
And only one of us has to mod God. You know why I don't? Because I work for the one true God. You're gonna just let the whole panel shut the fuck up, nigger faggot. Now you're just gonna do another stream of backstage and let everybody for me. I always know Mike's first to go. Yeah, Mike's garbage.
No, please, I did that so you could get so you could get it out. Okay,
that's when you come see me tonight. All I'm asking is don't make this stream the thing you're going to be backstage me for. Save that for when you come see me. And Sean, you're welcome, sir.
Okay, well,
I'm not a fucking mod god.
Mike, go ahead, please.
Yes, you are. You're mod speak.
Tommy, will you admit? Will you admit? I'm asking. No, hear me out. Don't curse. Don't curse. Handle yourself politely. Well, I'm asking you a question. If you can compose yourself for 2 minutes, can you handle yourself for 2 minutes?
Very well every time I see you.
Okay. All right. So Tommy, it's blatantly obvious that you. It's blatantly obvious that you. So he can't compose them. It's blatantly obvious that you love Jack. That's why you come back for his message. You keep coming back. If you hated this man above me, Jack, if he hated you, he wouldn't come back. He wouldn't continually come back. What Jack does, Jack takes abuse to wear these people down to hopefully they'll have an epiphany and they'll realize that they're bad life choices. So Jack takes the abuse to try to help people. That's what he does.
Thank you for saying that, Mike. There's something, the last few days, the energy on the last couple of streams, I felt it had changed. I felt we'd had more productive conversations and stuff. But in my own path, I felt guilty both days. And what I found, it's kind of in line with what you're saying, Mike. I'm doing my best to take the negativity that people want to give me, and I don't want them to feel bad, but these people are wrong. They're wrong about me. They're wrong about themselves. They're wrong about God. And so how do you convince someone that they're, I don't know.
Jack, it's very, let me just give you an analogy. This is what I see. It's like a teacher who teaches people that are mentally scarred. It's someone trying to teach them, but they have mentally, they have issues going on. So the teacher takes a lot of curses, takes a lot of abuse, but the teacher doesn't give up. They keep going. They keep trying to teach. They wear the heart on their sleeve. But the problem is that if you notice, Jack, the world or these platforms People are getting more and more angry and more evil. They say the lowest things possible. But Jack, they keep coming back. They're coming back for a reason, because they're thirsting to change. They want to change, but they don't know how. They can't figure out how to break through the change.
Mike, I think you're spot on. And here's the frustrating part. I could help them. My life experience has prepared me to help people who are bitter and angry. It's actually my dream is to help people. But since they don't see me as having any value, nothing I offer is going to change. So it's another example I'm facing where the path and solution are exactly the same. For Tom and I to help each other in better ways, we've got to get past the opinions. And what you described of me, Mike, that could be said of Tommy as well. He feels as though he's teaching me and others. You know, he's not given up. That's where you're right too. So
we want Tommy on our side, right? Because he's
yes.
a fighter. Like, I mean,
yes,
we need that stamina. We need that fire. We need that.
But the problem is that Tommy calls himself a Christian.
Tommy,
right?
come on our side.
But
come on.
But he comes up dropping N-bombs and making fun of Hank and making fun of Jack and doing all this other stuff, and clearly has some kind of issue going on. I said this before. I debated him one time. He's in crisis, Jack. He's actually in crisis. He's in a crisis in his life. In other words, he doesn't know what to think, what to do. He tries to lean on Christianity, but he doesn't act like a Christian.
I think his life is a crisis. You know,
but let me tell you this, Voight. Let me tell you this. I'm a Roman Catholic, and I contradict myself all the time. But at least I could admit it. I could admit that I'm a walking conundrum. I could admit the fact that I continually do things in my life where I try to be a good Catholic, Christian, same thing, and then I disrespect other people. So I have to work on myself. But the people like Tommy can never break that cycle of just saying, yes, I'm wrong. He has to always be right.
Yeah. Well, that's a very human condition, right? But
it
well,
is.
you know, to a certain degree, you know,
Right.
the way that this behavior, let's not name the guy, but let's just call it that behavior, right? Because it's a certain kind of behavior. It's not him.
Yes. It's not unique to that individual. Exactly, Voight.
Yeah.
But Jack, do you see that Tommy's anger, when he gets so enthralled in anger, it's because he actually loves you that much. Like he can't admit the fact that he actually loves you.
Mm-hmm.
He can't admit it.
Know.
Dude, he's obsessed with you and your message.
It's a spirit. We're living these spiritual lives, and he's got a blockage in his awareness. He doesn't quite see. He doesn't see all the variables that I see and that you're seeing. But you know what? These patterns of fighting to be right, there's a reason people do that. It's because in the past, they faced danger. Now, the level of danger that they were in or whatever, people develop these patterns of either aggression or subservience, you know, based on our childhood and the life we've lived. The world we live in, though, it's all divided. And I swear to God, the solutions for us all, when people start listening to each other, because every one of you on this panel has experienced things and learned things that I have not. And I'm well aware of that. The same applies for me. And I realized this a long time ago. There is so much to learn in this world, whether you're looking at the science or history or, you know, modern day. There is so much to learn. We could spend lifetimes learning, right? And discovering everything that's available just here on Earth. And we don't have time to learn everything on our own. That's why when we unite together, it becomes divine, because each of us is carrying not only the memories of our lifetime, but the ancestral memories and all the intelligence that keeps us sustained. We're in this amazing experience, this realm of life that has been created for us to share. If we start learning from each other, listening to each other, it shows respect, not only to ourselves, but to the other person. It shows respect for the truth. And if we do that, man, we not only double our odds, our odds of success grow exponentially the more connections we have.
Yeah, they do say humans are powerful because we cooperate, but I don't think it will ever be fully united. I don't think that's realistic. I could be wrong, but like, there's always going to be differences of opinions. I mean, that's how progress happens. If there's no criticism, then you won't change. So that's why I think Tommy is criticizing you, because he thinks your ways of doing Christianity is maybe too liberal for him. And that's maybe
right. And that's his problem that he wants me to deal with. But the fact is, opinions keep us divided. That part is true. But the facts actually show, the objective facts show us that we are all connected. Our differences don't actually make a difference. Every one of us is here on Earth at this time. We're all in this together. Nuclear wars go off. Hey, every one of us is done. So what I actually want to point out, Sean, is in my awakening, that was part of my process as well, as I had to overcome my ego. It was my ego, my systems of beliefs that had me believe that I was different than people. And the way I was raised, I was afraid. I didn't realize it, but I literally was. I was afraid of people who I saw as authority. And that usually meant wealthy, right? Because wealthy people, they've got the money, they got the power. You know, someone in authority, man, they can punish you, and I don't like being punished. I used to be so afraid. And then I started figuring out, what have I got to lose? The greatest loss we can lose is our self-respect and our dignity. Hey, we've got more guests, but I want to be respectful. You guys are being respectful with me. Welcome, Moose. Good to see you again.
Great to see you as well, Jack and Hank and Big Mike and brother Sean, the new Drunken Bradley.
Moose,
So-
salute, my friend. Salute, Moose. Go ahead. Sorry.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, no?
Greetings.
Yeah. Hey, so love, freed from conditions. The world we live in, what I've been noticing is that we actually have far more power, far more energy, far more resources.
Sorry, I got
than
itchy on the eye.
we think. You what?
I was itchy, you know, I had to scratch my face. I was itchy.
And you
Then
had
leave
to
it muted.
pronounce it?
Yeah,
Of course,
pronounce
it's
that.
stage. He needs to take center stage, otherwise it's like, the show
Oh,
doesn't.
center stage with the cage, with the mage, with the sage, with the page. Yeah, what
Cage,
about that?
Cage, are you serious?
Oh yeah, I'm very serious about it.
Moose, let's get him. Let's get him, Moose.
Yeah, deal with me.
Your lack of awareness, situational
I'm
awareness.
super. I have no idea what's going on, brother and sister.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm very unaware of your
Yes.
bank account that got linked up to a certain thing. I'm super unaware of it.
Ah, see, that's what it is. You've got a narrative where you've done something for me, so I guess
No,
I
no, no,
owe
no, no,
you.
no, 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 no. We can't even accept it,
Well, Cage, you just deflected the topic. I
bro.
was
You can
trying
call
to
me
address.
Cage Cerrone, kind of like Mike,
You're behaving like a child, a juvenile child.
Are you
I'm
here for
I'm a
me?
asking.
Are you
parent.
here
Though.
for
It's
me and me
Mother's
only?
Day, bud. You just say
Are you here for me,
okay to
Cage?
Mother Nature.
Why are you dropping my name? Why you Jack is talking to you directly. Why
Because
are you
you're a
saying
bitch.
my name? I didn't
Because you're
talk
a
to you.
bitch.
Because
Because
I'm
you're a
what?
bitch.
Because I'm
Because
what?
you're a bitch.
Because you're drunk?
How
Because you're
many times
drunk?
do I have to tell you?
See, I knew Cage was going to do this when he came up.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
fascinating.
And here's the thing we
Moose,
had to
they just
watch
want
out for.
Moose, I destroyed him on panel a couple nights ago, Jack. I'm sorry, this is not related to you, Jack. This is a good message. I'll be quick. He's seething to get on get up here and be negative. That's all. And this is a positive stream. That's all. I'll stop there.
Oh, we got one too. But yeah, here's the thing we had to watch out for, Jack. People who think they're entitled to their own facts. They'll put their own blinders on and imagine whatever they want, but they won't acknowledge what's right in front of them.
Yeah, but Hank, there's nothing wrong with destroying evil, like Mike was saying. I'm with him on this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I
So the whole
noticed
thing, so
something.
Jack doesn't like a whole lot of negativity. He likes to keep the vibe a certain way. That's what I noticed. It's almost like aura. It's like a vibe. But the problem is when people do come up, like Moose was saying, Hank, when people do come up and be disrespectful, sometimes they need to be dealt with. That's, I think, what Moose is trying to say.
Yes, and I agree. There's another aspect to this that I'm trying to figure out for myself and trying to deal with. Okay, because what I'm picking up from Cage, the last time he was here, we announced the GoFundMe that he started and he got going for me. And he didn't say it, but I'm pretty sure I ended up putting him in the back, and he was offended after, what could be perceived as my betrayal, right? My lack of gratitude. It's a good gesture, and I understand the intentions, and I welcome that. And while I'm mentioning it, it's in the link. This is what I'm talking about, the GoFundMe for help Jack get an RV and live without fear. The idea is to invite support. So people want to financially contribute and support me. That's what the idea is behind it. But here's the point. It's not what I'm looking for. So for me to be emboldened or to be real, just to give him a special place where he can now take over and just ignore me, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, Gage gets offended and
We
decides
got
to commit
plenty of cookies
veteran
for
charity
everybody.
fraud. If Gage gets offended and decides to commit veteran charity fraud, we can always make you another GoFundMe and make you
I'll
the actual
take your
money.
cookies, Cage. I know they'll
Yeah,
probably.
everyone gets a cookie.
Was
Guys,
that kind of insult? I was actually like,
No, it's about what a cookie is, like on the internet.
oh, hey, Wizard, brother Keith,
Yeah.
it's you.
What's up? What's
Turn you
up,
back.
Wiz? How you doing, bud?
Jack, have you talked about your Mother's Day message yet? I missed it. If you did,
it was brief. I admitted my own, my relationship with my mother right now. It's not healthy, not based on my choices, but mom's confused about what's going on with me, so she doesn't like to talk to me much anymore. But the message for the moms is truly, we've all had people in our past. Maybe our mom wasn't perfect, but we had people in our past who nurtured us, who cared for us. And again, maybe it wasn't the best, but it survived, right? We survived. We made it through. And so I recommend to anyone who still can, right? If you can call mom and say hi, give her a call and say thanks. And even those who may have played the role as mom. I know there's single dads out there trying to play both roles.
Father figure, mother figure.
Yeah. But in the end, I've come to the conclusion there's one relationship that we can all benefit from, and that's the relationship with God. If you want to identify as a father or a mother, as long as it's a healthy relationship.
You're quite the dog, Talcott. Spell it backwards, right? Or frontwards, or whatever.
Hey, God is important. I'm sorry, I'm bouncing around a little bit. I appreciate you.
That's okay, Jack. What I've noticed in general, and this is not just your channel, it's in general, in the world, everyone, all around the world, people are rebelling against God's message that like I've never seen in my 50 years on life. Like they just want to be evil now. They if they hear someone preaching,
But
do you ever
that's
see
what
the
you
street
do,
preachers,
you
Jack, where
fucking
people,
stupid fuck. That's what you do, though.
Can
do you ever
let
see people
someone
that go up
finish
to the street preachers, I'm actually speaking right now.
Like,
I'm not
you're a
intoxicated like you.
low-level manipulator. You're that
um,
cowardly and that inept that you try
Yeah.
playing games with people
So,
that
but you notice that
created us.
people will be
Yeah.
Jack, people will be street
Here, tell me
preaching. They'll
more.
be street preaching, and people will come up and they'll actually turn to like demons. Like the word of God brings the demon out in people. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the only thing I'm trying to say, Jack.
No, you are just a manipulator.
I
You know?
think you're right, Mike. Cage, what are you doing, buddy? There are a lot of reactions going on. In my past, I didn't take spirituality very seriously. It didn't receive much of my time or attention. But these days, spirituality and my spirituality, it receives the majority of my focus through the day. God is important. This video I mentioned was inspiring for me. He does a real good job of pointing out the love, the message of the love for us that is recorded in the Bible. This love for us from God. How do we ignore that which loves us? Mother Earth loves us every day. It's shown in the way she sustains us, the way she provides for us. God loves us. The way that the answers come forth and the light shines upon the day. The evidence is clear. So we're living at this time, Mike. It is the time, I'm confident, that the signs of the prophecy are here. We don't know the day, we don't know the hour, but you know what? If you commit yourself to love and you commit yourself to God, what does that mean? It means being in service to the world. It means receiving the life you've been given with joy, with appreciation. That's what it means to me, at least. And when I started finding a joy in my life, it was the same time I started doing my inner shadow work, right? Looking at me honestly, taking an honest inventory and a radical, a radical commitment to change. Guys, when I started testing myself, and I encourage you, this video, I didn't do a good job of marking it out, but there's a lot of inspiring messages in there. And I encourage you guys, check it out, please.
Are they like a cooperative kind of movement, socialist kind of thing?
I actually didn't get the full details of his organization.
Yeah, I think I know him. He's he's a Marxist economics guy. I used to follow him, and he's more into cooperatives. He's not a communist, I think, and he's probably trying to bring in the Christians as well, because Christianity is quite socialist. Well, you can do both, but
well, I think his focus is primarily Christ focused. What his plans? Well, here, what's it say? The mission is this: to teach, train, and equip those with ears to hear, to stand anew in their rightful place as more than conquerors in a kingdom that cannot be shaken. This generation is literally and eternally dying for us to do. I'm not sure.
You're talking about Democracy at Work, that website?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong, but I remember there was this Jewish economist. Forgot his name. Someone might know in the chat. Not Laws might.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was the guy.
Okay. And so what is that reference? What's the conclusion there?
Well, he's a lefty economist. Professor Wolf, he's a famous lefty economist on YouTube.
Right. And so what does that mean?
Well, I'm not sure he's a communist, but he leans that way. Marxist socialist.
Well, it's clearly challenging capitalism. I'd assume he's got some ideas that oppose capitalism. That's actually what I do as well. I mean, this is something that seems pretty obvious to me that the churches have missed out on. I mean, I don't know what each person's ideas are, but Jesus was a radical. He was a revolutionary. He stood against the religions. He stood against the state and against the economic. He stood for God. He stood for life, for the truth, for love. But the same symptoms of society that murdered Jesus and hung him up on a cross, it's the same thing we've got today. Right? It's oppression, and it's selfishness, and it's coercion, and it's fear-based. But I tell you what, guys, we have so much to be excited about. We have so much to be hopeful for. This is the way the devil works in my mind, right? The devil brings the darkness and the self-destruction. So it misleads. It'll use a little glimpse of the light. It'll bring a little bit of facts and a little bit of evidence, but it'll mislead us and betray us. So the oppositional forces like the devil or Lucifer, whatever you want to name it as, its power is not in the light. Its power is in the darkness. In the darkness, the answers are hidden. We live in a world where the answers are, right? It's up to us to find the answers that we want. That can be misunderstood because what we want is not always true. But if you want the truth, if that's your goal, if that's your commitment, and this is what I've done, I don't give a shit what the answer is. I just want to know that it's true. Because if I don't know what's true, then I don't know what to do. And this is where I figured out in my life, because that's where I found myself. I found myself not knowing what to do. I no longer had a family or a career or a routine. So I had to figure out what to do. So I had to figure out what was true. And the conclusions I came to is that as Jesus was, I am. As Jesus was, we are. We're just different characters in this process of time here on earth.
Yeah, but do you think that everything in the Bible is morally correct? Like, I mean, we have progress since the Old Testament. I mean, the Old Testament is quite controversial. I think Jesus mentions hell the most. I mean, he's the one that talks about hell. So it's not very, you have to agree with me, there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that is not really socialistic, or it's not fair for everybody, basically, which is kind of realistic. I mean, I don't think communism, or 100% capitalist or 100% communism is realistic neither. But I still think that some of the laws in the Bible are extreme and can be changed.
Why do you need the ism? Why can't you just say being social or having?
Well, I think.
Why do you need to reason with isms? This is where you go wrong, Sean, and this is where many people go wrong. Why do you need to say socialism? Why don't you just say being social? Because being social is not being a socialist. Being in a community is not being a communist. Being rich is not being a capitalist, okay? And that's where you go wrong. When you use those words, you know, it's not going anywhere. I can't communicate with you if you keep on using those words.
Right, and I think we spoke about it earlier on a different panel, you and I, Voy, in regards to the intent and everything of what somebody is saying, and that's a consciousness that belongs in each individual's mind. It doesn't go beyond that. And so when we try to interpret what other people are saying, the fairness relieves itself by those who are fools, let them be fools.
Yeah, but the difference between being social and socialist, the difference between being communist.
Communicate with the fools, and he just stepped in. You know, speak of the devil. Step on.
We got to be able to see both sides of the track, right, Voy?
Yeah.
The identification behind what you're saying, it's not just with the economic systems, but what our egos do, the way conditioning has been, and the way we've developed. We all get hung up on words, right? Words are powerful tools. They reveal the truth, or they can bring confusion. And we live in a world where there's so many people, and it's so easy to get caught up arguing over words that we miss the point. We miss the understandings. And I think that might be where Voy was trying to point out. Rather than socialism, the idea, the activity of being social.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But that people, when you say socialism, it surpasses that, right? And when you say communism, it surpasses that. So, you know, that's I know since young, you know, that every ism is a bad thing. You know, even realism is a bad thing. Not everything is real.
You know what a really bad thing is?
Let me jump in, please.
Oh, may I?
Please
you disrespect faggot. All I'm asking, because everybody knows I'm the Panelverse fucking president. Mike, are you gonna show up with Jack tonight? Because if not, your grown ass doesn't need to be talking that shit when I can't respond. And everybody that's a Jack supporter or opposer in the chat, by all means, there's no wrenches fucking shit up except the grift wrench. And I'm surprised how fair the grift wrench is. You're garbage, Jack. So make me the promise. I'll set the time back if you need longer for your show. I got it set for 2.5 or 2 hours from now. You must stay,
Tommy,
Jack.
why are you so angry? Tommy, why are you so angry?
Because
where does your anger come from?
Hey, I'm speaking, please. It's my turn to speak, please. Because I've defended Jack's channel against you whenever you do this thing you're doing. Jack, please, one-on-one.
Let me try.
One-on-one, Jack. If you want to talk, Mike, I'll show up tonight.
Show up where? At your house? At your Nissan Armada that you live out of? You live out of a car.
Show me some respect, Jack. What are you doing?
Did you want you and me one-on-one, or do you want Mike?
I'm asking you what the fuck you're doing.
Well, I'm trying to do a live.
Yeah. And Dave, how do you feel that goes once it's just like Boy and Mike? And how do you explain that Mike's doing the same thing to you he's always done, and you let me get in on him for it? Because he wants to sit over on Ham Banana and call me a homosexual, and then show up and I bet you he won't explain why my life is in shambles, because it's not. But he better show up tonight if this community will go in on him.
Right. And I tell you what, you asked him the question, but he didn't get a real chance to answer. And so I'll encourage Mike. I intend to join you, and I'll encourage him to join.
I didn't get to ask because you had me in the back very disrespectful like.
How about this?
How about this? You show up tonight and you don't leave till it's over, Jack.
Show up where? Show up to your channel or to your home?
Yep.
Where are you asking me to show up to?
Yeah,
Where are you asking me to show up to? To your channel?
I heard it the first time, Mike. May I retort? See, Jack,
you're flying on methamphetamines. You're flying on methamphetamines.
No,
that's why you're talking like this. Talk normal. Talk normal. Talk with a normal. Talk with a normal diction. Have a conversation. Don't flip out like a maniac, like you always do.
Well, you have to give me a turn, faggot.
Yeah.
Your wife's a whore.
I'm not. Well, Tommy.
He'll sit on hand banana. He'll sit on hand banana and call me a liar, call me a homosexual, call me a meth head. And the only reason he showed up here is because I triggered him in hand banana's comments recently, saying, Mike, you're either full on troll or Mr. After School Special lecturing, and I don't think you're correct on either. And he mad, and you're supporting that like that autistic nobody. So Jack, you gonna stay till I excuse you or it's over? That's all I need to hear.
It's 50-50. I'll do my best.
Why?
How about that?
Why? Well, how about this? Your best better get a hell of a lot better because you're not doing a thing.
How about
this? And I hope Sean shows up. I hope Sean shows up. I think he's got more Christianity locked down as an atheist and understanding how you're not. And we'll just be looping. I've told it to y'all before.
Okay.
Are you sharing a chat? Read it to me, Jack, because you're standing on this. Read it to me.
It's a contribution from Hank, and it's a jab at you, Tom. Your life is in shambles. You were trying to white-splain black people and zebra-splain Christians. I think he's right.
Why do you think he's right?
You try to black-splain.
Him and Snafu got banned from my channel the same day.
Okay.
And you sit up here and use him as a credible source. Jack, you're going to get wrecked. You better sit in for it. You're going to get wrecked again. All right.
I'll meet you later. And for those who are not sure, Tommy's channel is in the link there. I didn't mean to be rude, Mike.
Not at all.
Just didn't want it to keep going back and forth.
You want to keep the vibe to not to explode. You were trying to mitigate the vibe. I know.
Well, I gotta ask the obvious: is Tommy living out of a storage unit, for crying out loud?
He's living his path. He's pushing himself, and he's walked away from some of the traditional conveniences. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm lucky I'm not.
The weirdest thing. But Jack, the weirdest thing is that he was best buddies with someone. Now he's calling this is his words, an autistic moron. But he was just friends with this person 2 days ago. Tommy is in a world of hurt. Listen, I know he's not here right now. I'm not trying to overspeak or over accentuate. He's in a world of hurt. The guy lashes out. Anybody who gives him any kind of love or respect, he just goes crazy on them. Because why? At the end of the day, you hurt the people you love the most. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and actually, it's an interesting dynamic I've observed in our design. When we are driven and controlled by the ego instead of the spirit, we will push love away. And that's what I see many people on these panels doing. I see a lot of people pushing away opportunities to grow, opportunities to receive love and acceptance. Acceptance and love are scary to people who have convinced themselves to be tough and alone. It's confusing.
Jack, I want to say something real quick. I thought about this. What you just said. Evil is easy. Love is hard.
Yes and no. Yes and no. It gets easier. The first forgiveness, the first acceptance, the first time you got to swallow your pride and just say, hey,
Time you
just for the
swallow it
sake of
hard.
peace.
Second
What's
time,
that?
I said the first time you swallow, it's hard. The second time, third time, fourth time, it becomes easier, right, Jack?
Now we're talking about pride, Moose. Pride. Not,
We're
not semen.
talking
Not
about pride.
semen. Pride.
I
Pride.
wasn't talking
Not
about anything else
semen.
other than pride.
No,
Al.
not semen. No, not
Right.
semen. Pride.
I wasn't talking about semen. I was
Yes,
talking
you
about
were. Yes, you
pride.
were.
When you practice.
No, you were. You were talking about semen.
No, when you practice something,
Yeah,
you get
you are.
better at it.
Right. And that's the point. It gets easier. The first time we take the high road, the first time we give our last dollar away, the first time we do anything, it can be tough. It can appear scary. But I tell you what, the benefits found from letting go, from disengaging from nonsensical battles, from walking away from time-wasting competitions.
I was just going to say, Jack, that's all your wants and desires as part of an ego in a popularity contest. And it's not so much that I think less of Tom, but when I asked about the living in a storage unit, it's that materialistic latch that he refuses to let go as a definition of that thing everybody wants to call rock bottom. Whereas in my experience, that rock bottom is where you're closer to the reality and a better comprehension of what that reality is. That without that materialistic world, you still exist and you still have the power to do everything you need to get it all back if you want. This is the story of Job.
The getting
Now,
it all.
I'll ask the typical atheist question. Prove me God exists, or can you give me good evidence for God's existence?
Well, before we go into that, let me ask, the perception that atheists have of this quote God. I want to ask, do you think it's a in personam type as they describe it, God, God?
So I didn't understand the.
What is your aspect of the God that you think Christians see? Is it relative to the personification, or is it relative to a different description of what God can be further explained as?
So I don't have a very good vocabulary. So personification, what does that mean?
The naming of it.
No, I think God is like a higher being, and it looks like us, or it could be looking like us, and it's spiritual or something.
So you do believe in the spiritual aspect, as you just admitted.
Well, no, this is what I think you believe, but I don't believe in it.
No, then don't put that out there. I'm trying to figure out what you understand
of God.
Right, of your perception of what Christians see as God. What do you see it as? Do you see it as the spiritualistic realm that can't actually be personified, as you just explained? You understood there's a difference between that and reality. So I'm wanting to know what aspect, because I'll put it this way. I believe in this quote God aspect, but I don't believe it as a personification. I see it in the spiritual realm as the origin or source of life. Everything we see around us that we define as life or organic material consists of an origin of some sort. None of us knows actually what it is, but we know it is there by reason and logic. And it reproduces before our eyes in us being part of it as procreators in creating lives ourselves. That's the image and likeness I see as a source of life. That's nothing more, nothing less. Just like an animal, a rabbit, a blade of grass, a tree, a flower. There's a source of life for each of us. What is it? No one can define it.
I didn't really get it fully, but you basically saying God is everything, or
no, God
the universe.
Is the source, The God is
Can
the
I-
source of the God is the source of life. Your source
I-
of life. Go ahead.
Please. It's yes and to what El Pero's saying. In my simple answer, Sean, yes, God is everything and more. It's the spirit of consciousness that through which we get to know. In my perception, as a human form, there will be no moment, no place I can experience in the absence of God. There is only the one. And the one true source, right? That source of all that is real. It's more real than we are. We're just temporary aspects of life participating in a short period of time and consciousness. There's a God.
I'd like to ask Sean, like, do you think that is your question an actual question, or is it just a remark to define the people that do believe, or the people that are Christians? Is it an actual quest of yours to find God?
It's a fair question.
Yes, I was a Christian. I was Catholic, and so if I like criticizing ideas, because that's how you learn, you know.
Mhm.
Without conflict, there's no change. So, what was I saying? God, yeah.
I mean, you answered
my
my
point of
question.
view is that I don't know if there's a God. I'm an agnostic atheist. I cannot prove 100% scientifically that there's no God. There could be a flying spaghetti monster.
You cannot be, per definition, you cannot be an agnostic atheist, right? Because an atheist doesn't know.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Let him.
Yeah.
I get it. I think it's a general description to point us in the direction of what he's saying. Yeah.
So, how can you disprove that? Let's say I make up a religion, and my God is this flying spaghetti monster. How would you disprove him?
I wouldn't. Why would I?
Right. It would depend on purpose, I'd assume. Now, if we want to know what is true, here's the amazing thing that I experienced, Sean, because I used to identify myself as agnostic as well. I don't run with the atheist idea much, but I went comfortable. I thought I was comfortable in not knowing because, you know, after seeing the results of the churches and such, I figured God was something that couldn't be known. But my experience proved me differently. Once I started allowing myself to consider, okay, if there is a God, what then? What would confirm to me that there's a God? And what would confirm to me that God is with me? And I've asked for signs many, many times. Have I received any? I don't know. I've found some events or messages in my experience where I thought, you know, that could be a message for me. And if it felt empowering and positive and encouraging, I took it as confirmation from God. I admit my ignorance, but I'm telling you, the truth needs not, we don't have to fight for the truth. We don't need to argue over the truth. The truth is whether we accept it or not. And Sean, for me, I looked at my life. What limits me? What governs me? What empowers me? Truth. So I look at truth as God. And the way to know the truth is through love. That's been my experience. And that confirms the person of Christ and the Father as well.
Yeah, but you understand that love is objective. So, do you think that the laws or the morals in the Bible are always loving? God does not always act in a loving way.
The words spoken through Jesus and the divine embodiment through his character, that demonstrated everything. It
Yes,
was
but do you
love.
think it's loving to send people to hell
Well,
for
and can I?
finite?
That's a church interpretation.
Right, and
The
if
hell,
I could,
please go ahead.
if I could explain it through Scripture, Deuteronomy 24:7 says, "If anybody steal one of the children of the brethren of Israel, and make merchandise of him, they shall be put to death." This is their definition of kidnapping. So, is it loving of the people of Israel to put away evil from amongst them by taking away the life of the people that are kidnapping their children? Is that a loving act?
That's totally not where I was trying to take the conversation.
I understand that, but I'm just trying to show the aspect that we have to understand what a loving act truly could be. It could be something monstrous and heinous as taking away a man's life.
No, that's untrue. That's some of the faulty pens of the scribes talking about wars. And, well, you know what? Let me not misspeak, because things unfolded as they did. But the message of Christ is love.
Correct.
You're not murdering anyone else when you're turning the other cheek, right?
No, I'm talking about the people that get incensed because somebody takes their children. And with or without law, by natural instinct, the father will go after the one that's got their children.
Right? Those who lack self-control do a lot of things out of rage and anger. But the message of Christ Jesus is forgiveness and faith. So I don't mean to be disagreeable, because the words are what they are. But the God I know loves beyond conditions. There's no limits to God's love. And those of us who have spent time afraid and shameful or doubting God, right? We're afraid of this punishing God who's going to condemn people and send them to hell. Why would I want a relationship with someone like that? Well, the messages from John the Baptist, the messages from the true teachings are repent. As soon as we turn away, when we confess, when we admit, when we go to God with our weakness and our problems, there are answers that come up. It's actually, we're designed perfectly. The universe, it looks ugly sometimes and it's painful sometimes, but there's a perfection that we're not aware of yet. Got another guest in the back. Illumination Expedition. I'll take a chance. Welcome.
It sounds like Cage.
Love you, Jack. See ya. I hope you have a great night.
All right. Blessings. Thank you. I don't know what that was.
But you understand the atheist point of view. Have you researched the atheist point of view? So the atheists basically believe that there's no God, there's no religion. But the sad thing about atheism is that doesn't mean atheists are perfect either. I mean, religion is a comfort blanket, because I think humans, we invented religion to cope with our fears and stuff like that. And then we found science that disproved a lot of our older beliefs. And slowly we've reduced the beliefs down to, like, science has disproven Noah's Ark, the flood. What else? Science can disprove a lot of things in the Bible.
Wow, that's. I mean, are you completely in sync with the common narrative that is spun on this world, or what? Sean.
Yeah, what?
I didn't understand that question either. Sorry.
So Hitler was the bad guy, and Trump is the good guy, and Biden. I mean, is this the narrative that you are in? Pretty much, right? Sean, I'm asking you.
Well, I'm just saying that the best way to find the truth, in my humble opinion, is through the scientific method. And the science has used it to disprove a lot of the beliefs that we used to have or had in the Bible.
Which
Well,
beliefs?
most beliefs are moral, to be fair, in the Bible, but there's some scientific things that have been debunked using science and stuff like that.
Which ones? Just name me one or two. Because you said there were multiple.
I think the Catholic Church was into like
so you're not going to name.
the center.
So you're not going to name any beliefs, right? You just wanna go on talking. You just don't want to answer my question. That's okay.
Well, I was going to answer you there. The Catholic Church taught the Earth was the center of the universe, but I think they got that from the Bible. I'm not sure. And then what else? The flood. There's science that disproves that theory of the flood. Exodus.
I mean, you're not making an actual argument. You're just suggesting stuff.
Well, let him finish his.
No, he doesn't.
point.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Please.
Yeah.
There's archaeology that disproves a lot of the stories in the Bible. I listen to a lot of scholars, critical scholars.
Can I jump in here? Because Sean, yes, we live in a day and an age right now. The volumes of information that are being gathered and uploaded to the internet, printed, we're living at a time where you can find any answers you want. And that's what makes it kind of tough, because we live in a world where propaganda and advertising has proven that lies make profits, right? So we live in a world of lies. And we genuinely, I believe we all within us have an inner search for the truth. We want to know what's true. Otherwise, we don't survive. But Sean, I've actually come to the opposite conclusion. While there are many things, that may bring at least questions, if not disproving some of the historicity, some of the historical accounts of the Bible, I can recognize and agree with that. But in the realm of spirit, energy, consciousness, light, I suggest science, modern science, is confirming and proving the ancient wisdom.
Yeah. And the thing is, I totally agree, Jack. And Sean didn't bring up any facts, did he? He tried to be scientific about it, but he didn't bring up any facts. He didn't disprove anything. Come on.
Well, we're having friendly conversations, and the burden isn't real high, but yes, facts are more helpful, for sure.
Okay, well, the scientific method says you need to have theory, whatever. Anyway, I'm just saying that, facts. Evolution is a scientific fact. There's some differences, but it's mainly most scientists, and that's a big controversial thing in religions. What else? Scientific.
Sean,
incest in the Noah's Ark. I mean, 8 people from Noah's Ark could not have created all the humans that we have now. It would have taken way longer for 8 people to create 8 billion people now than the science says it's not possible.
Sure. I understand that. The messages and the meanings behind the allegorical stories, I mean, it's the wisdom that's really the value in there. The wisdom about spirit and treating each other right. I think, Sean, it might have been you that said it. You pointed out that in the past, especially, religions have been kind of developed as coping mechanisms. And I agree with that, but I don't think that was the reason they were created. I believe the order of process and creation is created, and then the oppositional forces, the corrupting forces, come in and manipulate that which is good into that which is not as good. And that happened with religions. The idea of religion bringing these people, who have education and experience, taking that education and experience and sharing it with others, that's a great thing for us to do. But when we take these experiences and educations and then start placing labels of superiority and inferiority onto each other, we're living at a time, the developments in technology, in education, in the scientific methods, Sean, right? Over time, mankind, through trial and error, has developed these best practices, right? Developed methods and processes for study and analyzing. I'm convinced, Sean, God is more real than we are. And so,
And also, I'd like to bring up that many scientists actually came to believing in God, or knowing that there must be a God or there must be a divine plan, through their research, right?
yes,
They came to the conclusion, like, this isn't possible by chance. One step might be possible by chance, but not all these steps that have to be taken for it to get to this result. And I'm not talking about one scientist. I'm talking about many scientists. Sean, have you also heard
But
those?
why can't it be? Why do you only believe in one specific God? Why can't it be like Allah?
I wasn't
or
talking about that. I was talking
Zeus?
about scientists coming to realization that it's not just by accident that this world came to be.
right.
That's what I was talking about.
My friend had one.
Okay,
He had
I
to bury
can
a car
accept that.
axle and tie it to.
I don't think he realized I brought him up. He was in the back for a little bit. So, regarding why is there one?
I came up because I heard method. Somebody got method?
The scientific method, Tom. Love you, brother.
Jack, whenever you said the thing about educations and superior, you seem to claim you're not education makes you superior. And that's just a little taste of what you're going to get civilly without getting mod-godded later.
All right. I can respect that. Tom,
you disrespect it. You disrespect it when you go, okay, and just move on. Acknowledge it, faggot.
No.
If you're not better or superior to us, why do you sit here on your panel and act better and superior than everyone?
Maybe because that's how I feel. But just because I feel that way.
I bet it is. I agree with that. You feel superior.
Sometimes.
All the time, I think.
No.
Except for when you're on my panel taking off. Until you're on my panel saying you feel tired. Right?
No. Actually, Tom, I admitted earlier, the last couple of streams, while they were more peaceful, I actually felt kind of diminished and kind of guilty. So I don't.
You should.
Feel superior.
Listen, the thing you should feel guilty about is thinking you have all these answers and showing everyone to have a civil back and forth with me deems me mod-godded. I'm not reading your chats. If you want to throw it up, say it to my face, Jack. I don't talk to your chatters until they're on my channel. I talk to them when they're on my channel.
I know. You do actually maintain your rules pretty well. The comment was
superior. I maintain a fair panel superior because I don't need these little it's my show situations. I'd rather be challenged. I want challenged. You don't. You want an echo chamber.
Are you Paul unslaving today?
No, that's you. You got a lot of nerve. You got a lot of nerve because I say when I put you through this, it's worse because you watched me do this to your daddy. You said I was correct and on top of it, and now you're being him. If he backstages me rather than answer me, you would say, yes, you win. He's losing. But when you do it, I'm just being a problem on the panel.
Come on, Daddy, you're making me look bad.
You always look bad. That's why you won't watch the videos I made about you. Makes you both look bad, but everybody gets a real good laugh out of it. You said
you're
it
not
yourself. Give us one. Give us one, Wizard. Say, I've looked like a fool all my life.
Tom, you are remarkable.
Well,
I do
maybe
enjoy
compared to
it.
you, no.
Hey,
But it's actually funny. It's funny that Wizard's still on this thing about he was so out of hand with his adopted mom that she just said, you need to listen to the police. And where'd he end up? In prison. It's like
Okay.
the police are an authority if you can't civilian right. We all are signing a spoken agreement to come out here and do things. And if you can't do that right, the police do have an authority.
Okay.
And then you have a responsibility, like Direct D and like Paul would claim he does, to keep the police straight on that authority.
No, police are policy enforcers of administrative code only.
Yep.
Right. And you break those codes, and they're civilly agreed upon codes. What do you want to do that you go to jail so much for, Wizard? What do you want to get done so bad?
I want to continue this conversation here, Tommy. You're getting
Go
a lot
ahead.
of work through. Thank you. I appreciate that. Holy cows, man. What were we on? We were discussing God. Were we not?
Yeah, evidence for God.
Yes.
Like, I would accept evidence for God in a miracle but
Sure.
the moral stuff, evidence for God. Okay.
How about this? God is outside of it's outside, right? So for now, it's outside of our understanding, outside of our definition. So let's look at defining us. Who are you when it comes down to it? Who each of us is, we're not the past, we're not the future, we're the experience of the present moment. And if you look at the experience of the present moment, all we are is a perception of
I'm going to take up for the atheist. That's not going to be a self-proof of God to an atheist, because you're not saying the Christian thing.
My way is different than yours, Tommy. I actually have a intimate relationship with me, what I consider to be God. We all have an intimate relationship with God, especially if you consider the truth to be God, and if you recognize who we are thoughts and sensory perception. We are the awareness of thoughts and senses. That's it. So
yes, but you agree that the truth can lead to there's a lot of truths that were considered truth in the Bible that were proven wrong using the scientific method, like evolution. What else? The history. There's contradictions in the Bible. There's moral things that are not, they're quite questionable. There's
Sean. So what?
I got empirical evidence for God he came and deny. So, Sean, if we go to Dark Matter 2525's channel, the main character is God. You can see that with your own eyes. There's your evidence for God.
Say that again. Yeah, but he's an atheist channel. He's very good. Say that. I didn't understand what you were saying there, Hank.
He was telling you the animated picture of God is the evidence of God.
Yeah, you can verify that empirically. If an atheist can depict God, then God's there.
True.
A more serious topic, conversation, or perspective on that is, again, if God is the truth, then the realm of mind is the path to know. And our entire body is a mind. It's a piece of technology that processes information, and we don't even have to be aware of it. But if you can consider the idea that we exist within the mind of God, to me, it makes complete sense. Because in the mind of God, all things are, everything is manifested from mind, not just from God, but through us as well. Our process of manifesting an idea into the physical world is a little bit different than that of Jesus or God, but it's the same concept and the same practice. We are God-like in the image regarding consciousness and love. I'm absolutely convinced that this is the accurate interpretation. God is the truth. And with love, we know. When we don't have love, our fear and our anxiety, we jump to conclusions, we stay in doubt. But if you can experience it for yourself, then you know. And me, I couldn't know God until I experienced God. And for me, what opened my mind to the belief I experienced God was part of my transformation. I had a powerful experience one night, and all of a sudden I felt love. Love overwhelmed me. And there was no reason. It was just from thoughts and God's grace. So,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now,
Yeah,
there
for
could
the
be a
record,
scientific explanation for that.
yeah,
It could be a mental thing. It could be chemical. It could be many other reasons. You
Right.
can't be 100% sure because
Where
science
do
is always
those
critical.
reasons, Sean, where do those reasons come from?
But even that, scientific doesn't exclude divine. That's
Right.
yeah,
it's not like that. It's not neither. It's not. How do you say either or? It could be. It could be that you can find the results of divination through science, because
yeah,
this is what most scientists actually conclude.
yeah.
But
For the record, Jack, I was dead serious with my suggestion. I used to be an atheist. Just the fact my language betrayed me when I tried to do the atheist language got me back to theism. I was dead serious. I was trying to give him an experience with God that he couldn't deny.
Thank you, Hank. And I actually agree. While Dark Matter 2525, he identifies himself as an atheist, I think he actually, in my mind, God is the truth. He presents God better than most Christians, right?
I never heard of the channel, but I like the take. I like the angle. Yeah.
What atheists need to accept is God exists. He's just man-made.
Yeah. Well,
Every concept and idea one could say is man-made.
Right.
I view God, the source of all things. It's the one that allows us to know the truth. So that which offers forth the answers, that which offers forth the truth, that's of supreme intelligence. And so in this realm, this experience of life, right, we've got the physical aspects, the emotional, the realm of the mind. In my mind, the giver of knowledge and all that is true, it comes from God and the highest mind. So to align with the highest mind in my own path, swinging it back to what Boy was saying, sorry for going on so long. In my own path to try and know God, I thought I couldn't. So I set out to better understand God's creation, history, sciences, all of these things. And then I found myself loosely, I could say that I've been studying the sciences of spirituality, because I've been studying the sciences of the mind, emotions, biology, all of this stuff. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, but I think science has not given us evidence for spiritual or, I don't know, consciousness is even in doubt using science. So
Yeah.
They all say it's just the brain, chemicals.
It's an anthropology. There's plenty of evidence. It's an anthropology.
Right. Well, and also, are you aware of the work of Rupert Sheldrake? I mean, he's just one name that comes to mind. He's an immensely gifted scholar in the realm of biology and science. And then we've got Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden. Those guys are wonderful teachers and scholars regarding the realm of consciousness. So, Sean, you just may not have looked in the right places yet.
No, I don't know much about consciousness, but can you give me a rough idea of what they think?
Bruce Lipton's focus is on epigenetics. He's a biologist who studies how the environment affects our genetics and our development. But included in the environment, he focuses on the aspect of mind, of thought. Greg Braden has studied, I think he's actually a geologist, but he's been studying archaeology and many of the ancient paths of wisdom. So he's been to monasteries and met spiritual leaders for a long time. And so he teaches about consciousness. And then Rupert Sheldrake was the first name I asked about. His field of expertise, he promotes the theory of the morphogenetic field, in which, in that theory, everything that is form comes from memories and energies of memories. So it's actually, well, he explains it very well.
And I think this is why you see in many cultures they had the oral histories before we had the written histories. It was a memory being passed down, and it was inherent that they passed these memories down. They did so through the storytelling, and that storytelling has now become history. The victor over the victim.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to you, Philip. Good to see you back, brother. How's your day going today?
How you doing, brother? I thought I'd just stop by your house, say hi, see how you doing. Say Happy Mother's Day to you and everybody on the panel and the chat. You know, like we got here somehow. It was a miracle. That's a miracle in itself. That should be proof in God itself. You know what I mean? I mean, it's so simple out there to understand that God exists, and I hope people are asking the right questions to why God exists and want to learn, and not just asking questions to disprove an idea.
Yep, agreed.
I think we're having great.
I'm trying to use the Socratic method here. Is that what I'm doing here? I'm asking questions politely.
Yeah.
Is that what the Socratic method is?
Well, questions with the right intent. Are you asking questions to learn or
Correct.
disprove?
Yep, correct.
Well, it's been pretty open.
Both.
But yeah, a little of both, maybe. Thanks, Sean.
What is the point of asking a question if it's not to learn?
It's the way we live. Confirmation. We seek confirmation as much as we seek to learn.
Right.
But
Well, I think that's part of learning, is the confirming, so you no longer have to believe one side or the other. So
it can also be a way to teach.
And I think in the intent, that is the purpose in any question.
The intent of the Socratic method would be to get people to think more deeply about their presuppositions and beliefs in order to highlight possible contradictions in their beliefs and thoughts.
Yep, I would agree with that.
it is very important and good to ask questions. However, kind of what Philip was pointing out, a tactic of our egos, will ask questions to deflect, to distract, to try and, prove something over. But when we're honest, two things. Generally, when we're honest, even if we don't agree with each other, if we can understand, then sometimes the thoughts and the ideas will process later, and maybe find out our disagreement wasn't there anyway. So as long as we're honest with each other, I think these conversations are great. The other part of this is I am convinced we're a small little group in this greater cosmos of the world right now. And there's a spiritual revival that's happening. It's a resurgence of people asking, people turning and wondering what is right. I don't think it's just my path, but clearly the choices I made would have brought this, but I'm finding more and more conversations about God and consciousness and health and the future more than I used to in the past. And that gives me hope.
Hey, Jack, I want to thank you for letting me up and for having this good conversation with everybody on panel. And I'm going to bounce, but thank you, Denizen and Sean, Tommy. Oh, no, that's not Tommy. That's Keith. Philip. Philip and who's the other one? Oh, it's Moose.
Moose. Yes. Thank you, boy.
Thank you. See you on the next one.
Bye.
Be blessed. Be blessed.
Appreciate you joining.
Peace.
I'm actually feeling maybe it's time to start wrapping up anyway. I will probably be joining our friend Lumitami over on Station 33 a little later for those who want to join. I certainly hope that, who did Tommy want there? Oh, Mike. I hope Mike returns. Mike head over there. Philip.
Bye.
Sean.
Good conversation. Bye.
You bet. Thanks for coming, Sean. And I'm out too, brother. You know me. Be blessed. I love you.
Much love to you. Thank you, brother. Sean, thank you. I appreciated the conversations. You still there?
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out how to leave. All right. Bye.
It's all right. Here, I'll drop you out. I want to sincerely thank you for joining, Sean, and the questions, the conversations. I feel these were wonderful. We've got one more guest, and Mother's Day, let me just say hi. Whoops, briefly. Welcome, Noelle.
Hello,
How are you?
Jack.
Blessings.
How was your my Mother's Day, Jack?
How was my Mother's Day? It was
Yes.
beautiful. It was inspiring.
What did you say Happy Mother's Day to her?
I sent my mother a text, and then I left her a voicemail as well. So,
Did she respond back to you?
yes, she texted me back, said she loves me too.
Oh,
So
that's so cute.
Yes, thank you, Noelle. How was your Mother's Day?
Welcome. Good.
I'm glad. All right, I'm going to wrap it up, sister. Anything? I'm going to drop you out. Thank you, Noelle. To all who joined, sincerely, the topic today, I don't know if I unpacked the topic and the idea as well as I had imagined or had hoped to. The underlying messages, some of the links I mentioned in the live stream. Let me do another promotion real quick. In the description is for tomorrow, conversation with our friend NPC the Game, and regarding Scorpio full moon, we're going to have fun conversations with that. I also, in the link, this channel is one that I've been following a little bit. I like some of their work. End Times Production. This is also in the description. This conversation with this guy, for me, I found it to be very inspiring, right? Messages supported by the scripture, but the idea reminding you God's love. God's love is there for you, and you were created to be special, to be unique. You were created to be you. And the world we've got, the world we were given, the world that we were born into, there's a lot of confusion, a lot of darkness, and a lot of unhealthy traditions, unhealthy patterns. The most corrupting tradition and patterns I'm pointing at right now is the Federal Reserve System. Once again, the military-industrial complex. All of these things that we know about, but we've just kind of accepted and we'll let it go. Well, I'm getting way off the topic, aren't I? Love, freed from conditions. Spending time for your own benefit with your mind on the divine love expressed through Jesus. Many other inspiring spiritual messengers. Seek to reward yourself with confirmation. Seek words of encouragement and inspiration, not only from outside of you, but from within you. Because if you can grow your love to overcome your limitations, you can love free from conditions so that you don't require people to behave the way you want. You don't have to have these other things in your life for you to feel and to be with love. You can do it. I'm listening to myself, and I know I could explain this a lot more clearly, but I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. Sincerely, thank you again to all who tuned in, clicked the link, may have found us, whatever process, now or later. Thank you to all of you. I want to encourage and offer, right, the reminder. Love is the way. The destination and the path are the same thing. If you want to be happy, you got to be happy. You want to if you want peace, you must be at peace. You want to be with love, you be with love. You have the power to control you, no others. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to wrap it up there. Sincerely, from me to you, once again, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. Thank you again. God bless us all. Peace.